This is a Macintosh, or at least it looks like one. It runs MacPaint, it runs MacWrite, it even runs LoadRunner. But the entire computer is actually running on a $4 microcontroller. And here is the really interesting part. Because it's built around a standard Raspberry Pi Pico, it might be possible to turn it into something completely different. Maybe a ZX Spectrum, maybe a PC. But first, how good is it as a Macintosh? The MIC 128K is sold by Serdashop. Inside is a Raspberry Pi Pico. Not a Raspberry Pi computer, a Raspberry Pi Pico. That means no Linux, no HDMI, no gigabytes of RAM, just a tiny RP2040 microcontroller and some very clever software. The rest of the hardware is surprisingly simple. VGA out, SD card storage, and USB support for a keyboard and a mouse. I wanted to see if it could work with real vintage hardware. So I connected it to this IBM 8503 Monochrome VGA Monitor from the late 80s. I also connected a PS2 keyboard and mouse using a USB adapter. And then I switched it on. Everything worked. First try. No troubleshooting, no jumper changes, no firmware updates. It just worked. This is where projects like this usually succeed or fail. Not whether they boot, but whether they feel right. The mouse feels responsive. The Finder behaves exactly as you expected. MacWrite is included, and so is MacPaint, even LoadRunner. For a machine powered by a microcontroller, it's surprisingly convincing. Updating the firmware is almost ridiculously simple. Hold the boot cell button while connecting USB. A drive appears on your computer, and copy the firmware file across. Wait a few seconds. Done. Now let's go back to something I mentioned earlier. This is a standard Raspberry Pi Pico. And it raises an interesting question. In theory, other RP2040 projects could be adapted to run on this hardware. The VGA output, SD card and USB interfaces are already here. The challenge is that most projects use a different GPIO assignment, so they would need to be modified and recompiled. I haven't tested any of them, but it is an interesting possibility, and I hope someone out there tries this and let me know. The MIC 128K isn't trying to be the ultimate Macintosh emulator. It's trying to be simple. And that's exactly what I like about it. A tiny RP2040 microcontroller, a Macintosh operating system, and a vintage IBM monitor. That's a combination I never expected to work this well.